This is Mike McCarthy from Front Office Sports, and we are live on Radio Row with the great journalist Chris Myers of Fox Sports. You've known Chris for decades. He's called 5 Super Bowls for Fox over his career, including the famous 28-3 game where the Patriots came back from a historic deficit. Chris, let's talk about Sunday. You've been there, the man in the arena. What is the pressure on Tom Brady, Aaron Andrews, Tom Rinaldi, Kevin Burkhardt of calling a game of this magnitude?
There is a lot of pressure because first of all, there's a lot more commercials. There's a lot more cameras. Obviously, the attention, it's as big as a broadcast could get. So you try to treat it like, okay, we have the basics, the crowd, let the game come to us kind of a thing. I know that sounds like a sports cliche, but you really do over prepare, and you have to be careful. You don't go to the point that you're, the paralysis by overanalysis type of thing. The most important thing is being in the moment and thinking about what the viewer and the fan wants to see, and then enhancing that with the great pictures. And you have so many more cameras. It's well directed, well produced, and you got to be on your game. And the biggest thing too is, I know this is a basic thing, is don't make a major mistake. Right? If you're not sure, don't say anything. Don't screw anything up. And you have a support staff too that will help you out if you're unsure of anything.
Yeah. How do you tell a story as a sideline reporter in a succinct way? Because you're getting the least amount of airtime.
Right.
You're not, getting Tony Romo time or Tom Brady time.
Well,
you got to get in and get out.
Yeah, and you should, as a sideline reporter, all the work and preparation you do, you're ready just in case the lights go out, right? As we had at a Super Bowl, or something major happens. And I think 90% of what material you have never gets used, but that 10% has to really be good. And at least the Fox flow of in-game reporting always was, it should be current and not something topical in the game. It should be something you read about during the week, unless it relates to something in the game. Hey, Mahomes said on Wednesday, or this defensive player said, hey, he's going to do this, and now look what he's doing with Mahomes, that type of thing. But you got to be on top of injuries, and you also do a lot of reporting up to, in the breaks, to the broadcast booth or the producer, that you're not on the air, but hey, look what I'm seeing down here, so they can get a shot of it, and you got to be on top of that, and they can show the viewer and decide to use it or not use it.
Yeah.
You're a small part of it. You don't want to get in the way of the game, because the game is the thing, and the booth, the play-by-play and the analysts, they have to control the flow with the crowd and the energy, et cetera. So fit in when you can.
During those 5 Super Bowl telecasts, Chris, did you ever have a moment where you were about to do your hit and you said to myself, wow, I'm about to hit 100 million people?
Yeah, I did. Well, I think I mentioned the very first Super Bowl I did for Fox, and I was obviously had experience doing playoff games, but it was the Jacksonville Super Bowl, the Eagles and the Patriots and Brady, and we were doing Troy Brown, the versatile Patriot player, live right before the kick. It wasn't as common as you see now. On my sideline, Pam Oliver was talking to a member of the Eagles on the other sideline, and as we're getting ready to go on the air, I said to him, hey, I know you got a game to play, but I'm just going to ask a couple of questions for the audience, and don't be nervous. There's 100 million people watching. And when I said that, I thought about, wow, 100 million. That's more than ever I had on SportsCenter or Up Close or World Series or any other event. And so when Richie Zions, the producer, threw it down to me, I kind of froze thinking about the big. And he was like, yelling, go, and it felt like forever to me. And even Troy Brown's kind of tapping my leg, like, Chris, are you going to go or not? Are we talking here? So it was one of those moments that after that I said, I'll never think about how many it's going to be. You're just relating your job to the audience. But yes, it does. And I knew going in, this is going to be fun. It was just another interview. No, it felt different knowing it was the Super Bowl and we were on the air in that moment.
Yeah. Take us back to one of the most famous Super Bowls in history. The Atlanta Falcons race out to a 28-3 lead against the Patriots. You're working the Patriots sideline. All of a sudden, Tom Brady has a miracle, and they start coming back. What was it like recording that game?
Well, the halftime there, we didn't interview the coach on camera, but we got to talk to him. But, of course, Bill Belichick was let's just say he wasn't very warm. He was kind of running to avoid me, and I had to run along with him to ask about, hey, what's going on? What can you change? I mean, what else can he say? His team's getting their rear end kicked, but he was not very helpful. but as the game went on, what I did see, and I watched Tom Brady, there wasn't, and I hate to overuse, there wasn't any panic. There was a sense of control, and Brady was a part of that. There were a few shouted words here and there, but this is what I felt from them, and I tried to relay as best we could because you don't know what's going to happen. But with the time, this is what amazed me, how they did what they did with the amount of time. They knew if they did certain things that they weren't doing in the first half that they could control, obviously moving the football and scoring points. It would force Atlanta to be in an uncomfortable area, out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's when you have good teams, and the Chiefs have done that with teams. The other teams start, here comes Mahomes. So this was like, here comes Brady. And they do things that are uncharacteristic. And so it favors the Patriots. So eventually they pull it off, first overtime Super Bowl. And because of the overtime, international media, more of media down on the field. And I always like to get the guy. I think it's important for Fox to as quickly as you can for raw emotion before they set up the stage and do the trophy presentation. And I was fighting through the crowd, trying to work my way up through and getting, knock producer over, security camera. I lost so we took the overhead camera, our producer, and Brady was really exhausted. I don't think he really wanted to do it, but I was like, Tom, we're live on Fox, that 100 million, right? And he was really gracious with his time to address how he came back. And it was, it was after Deflategate and illness in the family. So it was a special moment, but that I'll never forget that, because it showed me that, you always hear it's never over. And I still wasn't sure the Patriots were going to win that game until it went to overtime. And then I'm like, they got this in the bag.
Yeah. You told me that as you tried to fight your way to Brady, you ended up pretty bruised in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Talk about pain. Apparently you've got something going at the Super Bowl.
Well, I wish I had this. It's by Mueller Sports Medicine. It wasn't available then. It's just been out the last couple of years. They've been around for at least 6 decades, and a lot of professional athletes. And now this is something available for all of us, the weekend warrior, whether you jog or play pickleball or half-court basketball. But it's essentially, you have these boot sleeves that you can put on. It's a home unit. They have them in some of the high-end gyms now, or where you can work out, and it's basically compression that helps you revitalize and handle pain, so you can avoid hamstrings. But it starts in your legs, it works its way up, and you can adjust 20 minutes a night. You can get it at Walmart.com or I would say MuellerRevive.com. And Mueller Sports has a number of other sports medicine products that they've worked on through the years. But professional athletes have been using this for a while. They finally marketed it through the FDA, where it can be used by our weekend, any of us. My wife plays pickleball, gets worn out. She uses it as well to help get her back the next day. So it's a product that I tried myself and wholly endorse it. And I think you can get it for like $700. It's worth it over the long haul to keep you safe and less pain. So it eases the pain, so to speak, so you can get out and play hoops or whatever you want to do.
Well, Chris, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. This is Mike McCarthy live in New Orleans on Radio Row for Front Office Sports.
Thanks, Mike.